Considerations for making your first defensive handgun purchase. Next on Midwestern Tactical. I am Bill Mall and welcome to Midwestern Tactical. Today I thought I'd put together a video to discuss a common question that I get in a majority of my concealed carry classes. Every time I have one or two students come up to me and ask, so which concealed carry or defensive handgun should I buy? And I look at them and I say, well, it all depends, and it depends on several factors. The first thing that you need to consider is not to take what you see on TV and what your family and friends are telling you or what you're reading on the internet to necessarily mean that's what's going to work for you. What I always tell them and what I always recommend is they need to go to a firearms dealer that has a range on premises, either indoor or outdoor, and that rents different handguns. That way, when they decide to make this purchase, they go through there, try multiple different handguns, and find one that's going to fit them the best. One that's going to feel good in their hand, one that they're able to have shot and realize that the recoil impulse on it isn't something that's going to intimidate them or cause them to have, fear for the handgun that they're purchasing, and just genuinely overall get a feel for the gun that they're going to be comfortable carrying with them. I think what's really important to understand is one size does not fit all when it comes to a defensive handgun. And something that you have to consider is this is a purchase that you're going to be making, that you are going to be carrying with you every day. And not only does it have to be comfortable, but it has to be something that you're willing to train with and become proficient with it. So that's the first thing I will tell them is find a good firearms dealer in their local area that has an indoor range and go out and try several. You can see sitting here in front of me, I have multiple different handguns that I have out for my students at the concealed carry classes so they can get just a small sampling of the different variety that's out there. And if they want to take and shoot each one of these, I allow them to do so that they can get a small idea of what they're like. When my students first come for their first class, what I'll do is, for the concealed carry class or the basic pistol class, they have to take and do a qualification for Minnesota's concealed carry and also for the NRA's basic pistol. If they don't have a handgun of their own, and most of them do not, I will start them out right here on a Ruger SR22 or the Smith & Wesson M&P Compact 22. It's amazing on how many students come to the class and they're very intimidated by even looking at these because they've never held a handgun, they've never shot a handgun, and they're really down to it, scared of them from all the negative things they've read and just the fact that it's the unknown. But once they've gone through the class and we've practiced with several of the dummy handguns that I have, and they've learned the function of every one of these handguns and basic mechanics on how they work, I then take them out to the range and supervised work with them to learn how to hold it, how to aim with it, and shoot it. Now, by all means, this isn't making them a defensive pistol expert, but it's giving them the idea that this isn't so scary. And by the time the class is over, they all have a much better appreciation for the handguns, safety, and they're not as intimidated by them. So I will start them out with the 22 caliber pistols that I mentioned, the SR22 and the M&P Compact. Now, for defensive, I'll take and move them so they can check out the subcompact range here, this is a Glock 42 and this is a Glock 43. Those would be the subcompacts, 9mm for the Glock 43 and 380 automatic for the Glock 42. And they'll see that because the handgun is smaller and probably fits them better, the ladies especially like the smaller handguns like that, they will see that the recoil impulse on these, however, is a little bit more than the standard, like here's a compact, a Smith & Wesson Shield. This is the Performance Center edition, and here's the Glock 19. A little bit larger handguns, a little bit less of a recoil impulse with them. I'll then move them up to the full-framed, here's a Glock 17 and a Glock 34. And they'll be able to really tell the difference in what recoil feels like on it, how well it fits in their hand, and give them a basic idea of what size handgun they're going to use. The second consideration that I talk to them about in making this decision is training and picking out a handgun that you're willing to spend the money in training with. And that means buying the ammunition at the store to be able and keep yourself proficient with it. And it's a big deal. You know, when you talk about the Glock 42 here, it shoots a 380 automatic. And that box of 50 rounds of 380, those run anywhere from $22 to $28 a box just for training ammunition. Where here, you can see a standard box of Winchester 9mm. This is a 100-round value pack. You can pick this up for about $43 at Walmart. A standard 50-round pack of the Federals at Walmart, 9mm full metal jacket, will run you about $13. So, you know, if you decide that you're going to take and go big and you wanted to shoot a 40 Smith & Wesson or a 45, consider that, you know, the price for a box of ammunition goes up exponentially. You know, that 40 Smith & Wesson, you're going to be looking at $25 probably a box of 50, 22 to 25. And that 45, you're probably looking in the mid-30s to lower 40s for a box of training ammunition. But taking it a little bit further, you also have to consider the training ammunition is not what you're going to be carrying with you every day while you're wearing it or concealing it. There you have to buy the 20 to 25 round boxes of the actual defensive handgun ammunition that are used for defense of yourself or your family. Those, one box of that is going to cost between $25 and $30. And it's mandatory that you have to also shoot those and practice with those in whichever concealed carry handgun you choose, because that's the actual ammunition you're going to be shooting, and you're going to want to make sure it goes where you point the gun and pull the trigger. So, you know, make sure in your budget is the money that you're going to, you know, have available to train with it, because training with the your concealed carry handgun is going to make a big deal in how proficient you come with it. Another option you need to really consider is concealability. You know, I would love to be able to carry this full-size Glock 34 with me every day, but it's just not practical. In the wintertime here in Wisconsin, I could probably get away with it under a coat or under a vest. But in the summer, it's just not practical. Neither is the Glock 17. So I tell all of my students that they should choose 2 to 3 carry options, especially here in the Midwest, but anywhere, so that they can get an idea of what it's going to be like to carry a firearm in different conditions with different types of clothing on, and to get an idea how comfortable it is carrying it and the ability to get to it should they need to. So, you know, concealability is a big deal when you're going to be carrying this every time you go out. That's what makes the subcompacts like the 42 and the 43 a little bit handier, because they are smaller. But I carry the 40 Smith & Wesson Shield all the time and don't have any problems with that in the compact. So, you know, you need to take that into consideration. One of the last things I talk to them about, and there are many things that we discuss, but one of the last things that I talk to them about when they ask me the question of which one to buy is, how much money should I spend? And I tell them, you know, money, it isn't about how much money you spend. You don't have to spend several $1,000s on one. What's most important is finding a company that's got a great reputation, they stand by their product, and they have a reputation that the product does not fail. The handgun that you're going to purchase has a record that it isn't going to fail. It's going to go bang every time you press the trigger. You know, you're going to depend on this handgun to take and defend you or your family when you're out with it. This is the one you're going to train with. So you want to make sure it's going to be reliable and it's going to take and work for you every time that you need it. You know, it's kind of funny that, you know, everybody digs on high points, and I agree, I would never own a high point, but their manufacturer, their warranty on it, they will fix any problem that they have when that gun breaks. Well, that's great that they'll do that, but I don't want to have to worry about working with a handgun that's going to break on me, even if the company's going to fix it. So they really need to take this into consideration. You know, to have a really nice 1911, you know, and 45 and spend a couple of $1,000s, that's personal preference. You can do that if you have the money, and that's something that fits you and you're able to take the recoil from it, and it works for you in a concealment type of a situation. But to start out, you know, you can spend anywhere from $400 to $600 and get yourself any of the modern handguns that are out there today, and they'll work for you just great. Glock, Smith & Wesson, Ruger, just to name a few. It'll set you up and you'll be ready to go, but it is important. You have to train with it, and you have to take and get out and practice often, not only with concealing, but out on the range as well. So I hope this helped out a little bit to answer that question. This subject is pretty vast, and getting into it, I know I've changed the number of handguns that I've carried through the years many times, and there's new products coming out all the time. New ergonomics on these pistols, concealability, smaller in size, and you just need to pay attention that when you do get one, train with it, work with it, know how to use it, and know that it's going to be reliable for you. I hope that this has been informative for you. If you like what I have done here, please subscribe to my channel. If you have any questions, please put them down in the comments below. I will get to them as quickly as I can and answer them for you. This is my third or fourth video that I've produced for Midwestern Tactical, and I'm working on how to do it properly, and I'm really having a lot of fun with it. So please, once again, ask any and all questions and subscribe if you like what I'm doing. Thank you very much, and look forward to talking to you again.